Hello everyone. Welcome back. This is the second episode of the Low Blood Pressure podcast. So this is Angus Chambers talking, listening to my voice. I've got the same people alongside me today as I did last time. So we got Rohan.
Hi guys.
There you go. Here they are.
You alright?
Say hello. Okay. So, elephant in the room. We're back. We're back early than we said last time. See, Miles ended the last podcast by saying that we'll be back in January. But you know what? We realised how much we enjoyed doing it. And, we got a lot of support.
We did, yeah.
The fans loved it. So we're back for them. We're back for the fans. And we're recording the day after. Now, to me, that is commitment. That's impressive.
That is commitment.
Beautiful.
That is low blood pressure.
Exactly. We put it up yesterday. It's on like 100 views. It's brilliant.
100 streams.
100 streams
We're
on
on
SoundCloud.
150 now.
150.
150.
So
That is
yeah,
good.
thank you for that. And so we're back.
Yeah,
We're
really
back
appreciate
early.
it.
And I'll hand you over to Miles to introduce the podcast.
I mean, yeah, well, the podcast was met with such great reception and such overwhelming support, as Angus has just said, that we have decided to record another one straight after. So, welcome to the Low Blood Pressure Podcast Christmas Special. To quote, musical icon Jake Paul, it's every day, bro.
Oh, Miles, no.
We're recording this the day after the first one.
Christian's there cringing.
Shaking his head.
I'll just dab on you, dab on the haters.
Shut it.
Sorry, I'll leave it.
Shut it.
Well, obviously, so firstly, lads, how do we feel the first podcast when, what kind of reception was it met with? And, why are we deciding to film this other one?
I can't lie. It was pretty overwhelming. Like, got a really good reception, and it's we got some good constructive criticism as well.
Thank you, Sam Sandor, for your constructive criticism.
Thank you, Sam Sandor. Thank you, Tom K.
We'll be getting those lads on soon.
It's been it's also been doing the rounds on Reddit as well, I've heard. Which is
big up Sam again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I think maybe we should get Sam involved.
We might have to recruit you, Sam. You're doing some good work.
No, he has.
It might be a guest soon.
He has been.
Might do.
You've been recruited.
Yeah, and thank you for everyone.
Welcome, Sam Sandor.
I'd like to announce this now. We have on a January signing. Joining us in January. Will be Sam Sandor. We've recruited him full time.
We broke the bank. It's a January record transfer.
Yeah,
we're pleased to have you.
Yeah, welcome. Yes, so Sam will be joining us. And also thank you for everyone who tuned in, listened, and also followed the social medias. We got a lot of followers, didn't we?
We've gained followers rapidly overnight. And from my perspective, I think the main thing I was really pleased with was the like Ryan mentioned, the constructive criticism. I think that's... People can tell us it all went well, but we know that we can improve on things, and people letting us know exactly what we can improve on is really going to help this podcast grow and get better.
Yeah, so obviously it was great. We got a lot of praise. We also had a few things that we now know we had to improve on. For me, it was getting close to the mic. I'm attempting to do that now, so hopefully, I'm sounding a bit clearer.
Hopefully it sounds a bit different.
A lot of you said about me.
Yeah,
fan favourite. Majestic voice. Fan favourite Angus Chambers.
I have a nice soothing voice, and that's very nice to hear. It's very nice to hear this.
ASMR is coming. It's coming with Angus Chambers.
He does also have a lovely singing voice. So if you want to hear him singing on the podcast, please send in your requests.
We've got a couple of clips.
If this video gets how many likes we're saying?
15 likes.
15 likes
on YouTube. So if you're listening on SoundCloud, go on YouTube, like the video. You know what I mean.
I'll sing a song.
Share it.
But I was very up close to the mic. I was up close and personal with you.
And we're trying to copy that now.
Yeah, that's what we're all about. Being up close and personal with the viewers.
So it went well, and obviously we didn't think we were going to be able to record another one until after Christmas, because Harry, you're going away, aren't you?
I'm jetting off to Barbados. I'm sorry for my poor commitment to the cause, guys, but I couldn't quite miss out on that one. I'm afraid
it's been planned for a long time.
It has been planned for a long time. So is this podcast, actually, a few months, but. I think a holiday comes first, unfortunately. So commitment to the cause, low blood pressure. Thought we'd record the next day.
Yeah,
get one out there for you guys.
So obviously, we're not going to reveal this or anything, but the way we're recording this kind of emulates low blood pressure, doesn't it? Being chilled out, not really caring. If you know, you know. But we made some arrangements to make sure that we could record now.
We certainly did.
By hook or by crook, we
Had to be
dedicate
done.
to the fans.
I hope you've enjoying the carol service.
Oh, he's just revealed it. It's just revealed it.
We absolutely love the carol
I hope
service.
you enjoyed the carol service as much as us. If any teachers are listening, we did go to the carol service. And,
we loved it.
It was fantastic.
Loved it. It was super.
And we're recording this straight after.
Yeah, straight after.
I wore my heart on my sleeve. I sung with
Hark the
passion.
Herald
It was
Angels
very
sing.
enjoyable.
Hark the Herald Angels sings a brilliant carol.
It was
and
a
I
very
belted it out.
enjoyable carol service that we did go to.
Angus was singing in it.
I was singing. I was on stage.
His beautiful voice.
Soothing, I'd describe it as.
Soothing. Bed chambers,
Alright. Should we go on?
He will be mentioned later
Ed.
in a story. My brother, Ed
Oh, really?
Chambers.
Is he in one
yeah.
of your right? I think
He's coming
I'm
up to
looking
there.
forward to that one.
Incentive for the viewers. Listen out for that. He'll be coming in. And that leads us on nicely to the topic of the podcast today. Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Christmas special.
How many days?
I don't know how many days.
11.
We're recording.
11 days.
It's the 14th we're recording on. I'm sure we'll release this when we're releasing it.
I think we're going to release it nearer to Christmas time.
So near. It's not actually on Christmas.
Let you guys get into the Christmas spirit a bit
Because,
more.
we don't want to compete with all the traffic on Christmas Day. Because
I know people are busy. You're with family. You're not
yeah,
gonna have time to-
I'm sure you enjoy our podcast, but at the end of the day, you'd rather spend time with your family than listening to us. So
Absolutely.
Disagreement.
I have to disagree with that.
Disagree.
we'll be releasing it like the 23rd or something.
I think it's going to go like 20th to 23rd.
Anyway, it's soon, is what we're saying. It's exciting times. It's coming up. So what we're going to be talking about today is Christmas.
Yes, it's the Christmas
Stories about Christmas that you may have. Any interesting stories,
Oh.
any interesting experiences. I'm sure we've all got some. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about when we found out Santa wasn't real.
I mean, shock horror.
It's a deep
He's
subject,
not real.
that one.
He's not real.
Chat is
not real.
shocked right
In fact,
now.
I've got a good story about
Rohan
that.
says that with a big Christmas hat perched on his head. Clearly committed to the cause.
We called the podcast low blood pressure, but honestly, like when I used to think he was coming into my house, into my room, I did not have low blood pressure. I'll tell you about that later.
Was he like the priest at all?
Oh, yeah. So I was pretty scared. We'll talk about that later in the podcast.
We also wanted to discuss what we think of Christmas as a whole, as a holiday.
Yeah.
Do we enjoy it? Do we dislike it? And has it lost its religious value with commercialism?
Yeah.
For example, the Muslim family and the Tesco Christmas ad.
Yeah, that caused a bit of controversy. I'll be careful
Yeah.
what I say about that.
Yeah, we'll discuss it.
We'll tread
discuss
carefully.
it. And other Christmas adverts, I'm sure we'll enjoy.
John Lewis is a bit of an event nowadays.
Exactly.
Bash it up on the TV. Watch
Can't
it as a
lie,
family.
they've been on decline though.
Have they?
I think so.
I heard that they spend about £7 million making this new one. Like,
I'm not surprised.
It's not even that good.
What do you think of this year's one then?
Oh, it's
I've-
absolutely dreadful.
Is it?
I can't lie. I think like the
What is
past
it?
couple.
What is it again?
It was the.
It's like Mosh the Monster. Isn't
That
it?
was it. It was a
Mosh
monster.
the
It was
Monster.
a monster under the bed, and it was really bad. But I think my.
Oh no! I quite enjoyed it.
I didn't
Oh,
like
okay.
it. I'll tell you which one was good. It was the one with the bear and the hair.
No.
That one was good.
I think
That
this has
one was
happened
good.
quite
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah,
So
actually, yeah.
let's. What have you guys' favourite? Because it's a big deal now. The Christmas adverts. I'll start with mine. My favourite Christmas advert, one that was really good, was the World War One, the Sainsbury's
Yes.
one.
Yeah,
With
got
the
it.
German soldiers.
Got
If
it,
if you haven't seen it, like type up like Sainsbury's World War One Christmas advert. I thought that was absolutely excellent. Also, as a piece of like cinematography, it was very, very well shot.
That
I
was
loved
the same with the John Lewis one. I think that year was the penguin one.
Oh, the penguin one.
Yeah,
Oh.
the one where like the kid had the toy penguin, but he brought him to life.
Ah,
And then later in the
yeah.
See,
that's
I
the one.
like that one as well. That
I
one's
didn't
quite
like
good.
that one. I think
Did you not?
the last two have been pretty poor in my opinion. But I think
What was last year's one?
the last year's one was
There was
that one.
Man on the Moon, wasn't there? For
That-
John
that one
Lewis,
was
with
good.
a creepy old man on the moon.
No, that one
That
was
was-
good. I liked that
right.
one.
I still think the older ones were better. I can't remember which one it was, but like some of the
Somewhere,
first ones.
somewhere only we know is epic.
Mhm.
No, but
Yeah.
the song, she doesn't sing it well.
Yeah.
Oh, Angus can sing it better.
Angus is the singing expert.
Like we
here, you
mentioned,
know.
he is a singing expert.
We've
He knows
mentioned
his
this
stuff.
many times.
Yeah, but I think the earlier ones were a lot better because like
Which one, like?
Give us an example.
yeah, which one stands out for you, Rohan?
I can't remember exactly the name
Ah,
of
you
it.
fraud.
Sorry, I'm not an ultra, but it was
Christmas advert
like
ultra.
early on. Like they weren't anything special with all these characters, but they were more of like the family type ones, which were usually similar every year. But I think they just brought out a lot more emotions. I mean, maybe it's because I was young, but I think they brought out a lot more emotions than Mosh the Monster. Like, come on.
There's
I
one.
don't
There's
think
one.
it is called Mosh the Monster, but it's about a monster.
There is one.
Yeah.
There's one that I can think of. I don't know if you're referencing this. The one the little boy has is like trying to make time go really quickly in December.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that one.
And that one. And then it's because like we watch the video and we assume it's because he wants to get his presents, and then in the morning he like runs and gets his present given to his parents. That one's good.
That one is good.
Watch that one. Plug that one.
Which do you prefer? Giving or getting? It's that kind of saying. Is it better to give a present?
Getting.
It is nice when you give. It is nice when you give someone a present. So we like the Christmas. Well, Rohan doesn't, but most of us like the Christmas advert. So, I don't know. What's your guys' favourite thing about Christmas?
Tell you my least favourite thing.
Oh my god, we'll get onto that later. He's wearing a bar humbug hat. He can't help it. You know what I mean?
From my perspective, I think the best thing for me at Christmas is sort of the people I spend it with. I know it's a cliche, but it's that one time of year I sort of get to see most, if not all, of my family, and sort of I treasure that time I spend with them. From my perspective, I'd say that.
It's quite hard for me because on my mum's side, we can never have Christmas as a whole family because half my family moved out to America and they're kind of, they're stuck there. They've got American accents and stuff. Yeah, no, it's true. Stranded in America.
George Brindley-esque. Shout out to George Brindley.
Like, we had Christmas with them last year, which was sensational, but obviously it's three children and my grandparents who got three sides of the family, and it was but one side who lived in Reading, they couldn't make it. So only every 2 years do we get the whole of my family together, and it's quite a big event. But obviously, spending time with the family is just amazing.
Like, I'll tell you what my favourite thing about Christmas is, though. The food.
The John
the
Lewis
food.
advert.
The food. Mince pies are the most alpha food of all time. They are so good.
You should have been in my cheese group this morning. Mr. Openshaw got some mince pies.
Oh.
Nobody ate them.
Really?
Only
disgusting.
What? Me, Ben. I think it was just me and Ben, actually.
That is absolutely
no one else
sickening.
went
I've
near
got to
them.
disagree with you, Rohan.
I was absolutely disgusted. CWO, if you listen to this, that was a poor display this morning.
No.
Yeah,
mince
you
pies
upset
are
her. You know what I mean? You should have
good.
eaten her mince pies.
Mince pies are absolutely
You've got any mince pies here, Miles? We're in Miles' house, by the way.
We might do, because me and my dad are the only one who eats them,
Oh, come on.
What I like
entire
the Christmas
family
cake. I don't know why. I absolutely love the Christmas cake, because I'm the only one in my family who does. The ones with the white icing. Love them.
Yeah, I like the icing. I don't like the stuff.
It's like a fruit cake, so
Yeah, I don't like fruit cake, but I just, get a chunk of icing.
Pick it off.
It's when I was young.
Disgusting.
Oh no, it's the gingerbread house. The gingerbread houses. Love them.
I think there's like this shop like round the corner. Just a cheeky M&S round the corner.
Yeah.
I'd say I'd go there maybe every other day when like school ends, just to get like 6 or 8 more mince pies.
You like
get
them
a
that
lovely
much?
old pack of them.
Really?
I absolutely love them. They're
That's
so
crazy.
good. Or bag some like one of those what do you call it? Those like Christmas cakes as well. I like them. I'm not a fan of the icing.
But Harry
I like
saying he doesn't like mince pies.
I'm not a fan of the mince pies, lads, unfortunately.
Why is that?
Why not?
Just don't enjoy the taste, personally. I prefer a nice meat pie, to be honest with you, as opposed to a mince pie.
Pork pie.
Pork pie.
They are terrible at football games though. The steak pies.
Poor. Overpriced.
Steak pies are poor there.
Not very nice.
Yeah.
Cheap meat.
Wembley food, awful.
Come
Poor
to
is it?
Stamford
And
Bridge.
you'd
Come to Stamford Bridge.
expect better because it's it's a big stadium.
The Wickham thing, Adams Park. Honestly, I had it once, and
Never
on
again.
the way home, we had the windows open.
You're chucking up your guts.
Right,
Yeah.
Wembley, £6, 3 pieces of chicken, and a portion of chips for £6, and it's absolutely disgusting.
Oh no!
So
no.
don't get it. If you're going to Wembley, don't get it.
Yeah, but why would you want to go to Wembley anyway?
Yeah, I mean, either to watch England or Spurs.
I'll just say something about Wembley.
You'd have to pay me to watch either.
Tottenham have won more games at home this year than Chelsea.
Interesting.
But what about this Wembley hoodoo? When we've won more games than Chelsea and Liverpool.
No, they've adapted well. I was wondering if it's going to be like a sort of West Ham incident, but we can talk about that.
Don't compare us to West Ham. Mr. Grant, if you're listening.
Mr. Grant. Well, another one who has a podcast.
Oh,
Shout
no,
out to
don't-
Hammer Time.
Don't mention
Grant, if
don't
you're
mention
listening,
West Ham.
You parked
please.
the bus and you were a disgrace last night. It was awful to watch.
Yeah.
Please don't
if
mention
you don't
West
know,
Ham.
and you are from our school, he's not one of the reasons we started the podcast for sure, but English teacher, Lit and P teacher, drama teacher, Mr. Grant is on a West Ham podcast.
Does he
isn't
teach English?
Delusional.
Oh no, he said it in. No, he doesn't. He used to be an English teacher.
Oh, okay.
No, he does Lit and P for a year.
Yeah, he does Lit and P.
Yeah, but don't mention West Ham. We can swiftly move on.
We can swiftly move on from
Yeah,
West
keep
Ham.
it back to Christmas.
It's a bit of a sore subject for myself and Rohan.
Oh yeah. So, are there any things that you guys love about Christmas apart from the food? You know what I mean? Obviously, you like it.
The last 2 years, I've gone away for Christmas, actually. I've gone to Tenerife both years.
That's fancy.
Yeah,
I
I'd
spent
love to do that.
Christmas in the sun, by the pool.
Wow. Oh, I'd love
And
to
I'm
see
starting to get used to that and enjoy that aspect of Christmas. Because before, I used to obviously stay in Seven Oaks every Christmas, and I had done my whole life. But then, and I thought, this is how it should be. This is how I want it to be.
Yeah.
But I went away.
Angus decided to jet out, bag some tickets himself.
But I went away. I think
Private jet.
How much do you pay for them?
4 seasons.
I went away, and I thought, you know what? It's pretty nice.
Presidential suite.
Do it again.
Could get used to this.
I mean, I've only done
exactly.
it once. I'll talk about that a bit later.
Can we come round this time?
I have to ask my grandma. She's paying for it.
Oh, I'll get in touch.
Big up my grandma.
Big up Angus's grandma. If you know what a
big up
podcast is.
Angus's grandma. If she's listening, I'd really appreciate a ticket down to Tenerife.
No, this year, Dominican Republic.
Oh,
wow.
Superb, even better.
We're going to the Dominican Republic.
I'm staying in the country.
I'm very excited.
It's how it should be done, Miles.
Yeah, proper traditional.
Proper traditional. I couldn't imagine Christmas outside of England, to be honest with you. I've never done it. I'm not sure if I would ever want to do it, to be honest with you, because
See, I was the exact
That's how it
same,
should be.
actually. I was the same.
yeah.
Hey, why, you're not happy you're going to Barbados?
Well, I'm not spending Christmas there, Miles. I'm returning on Christmas Eve,
Really?
as I always do.
Imagine it'd be like
Chill.
because like
You'd
the
be
plane.
jet lagged
Maybe.
for Christmas.
I don't get jet lag.
Imagine getting
You know.
jet lag.
Jet lag
It's the most beta
is
thing.
a beta
Sleeping
mentality.
pill, knock yourself out. That's fun. Do we have any? Obviously, we mentioned that we were going to talk about this. So hopefully, you've got some like crackers lined up. But Christmas,
Yeah, I've got a couple good stories to see.
Christmas,
For you, Miles.
it's an interesting time, and often very very funny stories come up. Does anyone have any nice ones they'd like to share to the
Who's
audience?
gonna
and us?
kick
Do you want to
off?
kick us off, Angus?
Yeah, you kick us off.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
I think this is going to be long anticipated.
So this is one with my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, big up Ed.
So this is a few years ago in my current house. So basically the layout. So you would walk. There's the kitchen, and if any of the viewers have ever been to my house, so you've got the kitchen, and then through the door on the right you've got like the playroom. Like we had sofa and TV, and so the TV used to be on the far wall. So you're walking from the kitchen and you'd see someone sitting there on the TV. So this is. I think it was Boxing Day actually, a few years ago. Me and my brother just got a new PlayStation, PS3. These are PS3 days. It's quite a while ago. This story.
Beta.
No.
Classic.
Xbox FC.
And,
Agree.
So
Classic.
I've got a game. I can't actually remember the game, but it was my game. Right, it was in my stocking. And I put it out. I'm delighted. About a few hours later, after I've opened it, I'm walking there and see my brother playing on this game. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Get off my game. It's my game. I say, Ed, what are you doing on my game?
You playing that?
And he goes like, oh, I'm playing it. I'm giving it a go. I was like, it shouldn't be. It's my game. We had a bit heated argument, and basically we had like these. We just got back from Florida, and we has these really big drink cups. And if you get them at theme parks, they're really big. And this one was full of Ribena or something.
Oh.
I picked it up.
Oh no.
And I just threw it at him.
Oh my gosh.
And it hit him on hit him on his back, and it went everywhere.
Christmas spirit, right?
All over the TV, all over the sofa, all over him, and
But that was a bit of a sticky situation for you.
He lost his head. He went crazy. He started screaming at me. He screamed for my dad. My dad came charging in.
He deserved it.
What is going on here? And my brother chucks me under the bus, and my dad loses it as well. And basically, that was it. We had to clean it up.
I reckon
And my
Ed deserved
brother-
it.
He did deserve it, because he shouldn't have been on my game. It was my game. So we both had to clean it up, and it was a pretty awkward Boxing Day lunch later on.
I'm pleased I wasn't there. I think we've all had those experiences when you're at a friend's house and they get in trouble and it's just the most awkward thing
Oh
ever.
yes. Oh my god.
It's true. It's even more awkward if you're the person if it's at your house and you're the person getting told off, because your friend's sitting there
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and you're just thinking shut up, dad.
I have got a rather interesting story actually about a friend getting in trouble. So I'm around the house, sort of late into the evening, and I'm about to sort of go home. It's dark, raining, miserable. My mum shows up to pick me up, and we were just finishing dinner, and this particular friend decided to cause a storm. He started misbehaving. Now, I can't remember the specifics of this.
Who is it?
This friend will not be named.
It's only Smith.
Well, I'll cover the mic. You can tell me.
This friend will not be named on this podcast.
Did he go to St Michael's?
I'm not going to
Yes.
disclose
I
that
know
information.
who this is.
I will not disclose that
George
information.
Brindley, if you know who this is,
I will
can
not
you DM me?
disclose that information. So, getting into it, decided to misbehave, that didn't go down very well with their mum, who proceeded to wallop them.
Whoa. What? Wow.
In front of me and my mum.
Oh my god. I can see why he didn't
Christian's
say
just
that
losing it off camera. He's
Oh my
gosh.
Dear me.
Now, all I have to say on this particular matter is, I haven't been to this person's house since.
That is awful. Oh my gosh.
The funniest thing about it is it seems so out of character, because from what I knew of this woman, she seemed a very nice lady.
Two-faced, maybe.
Well, I wouldn't describe it as two-faced, because this particular friend, if you are listening, your behaviour that day was poor.
What did you do? What did you do? Go on, tell us. What did you do?
Oh no, it's gone.
Was he running his mouth off?
So basically, we're tucking into some dinner. From memory, I think it was some spaghetti bolognese.
Oh, delicious.
Beautiful.
Beauty.
He didn't like that. He didn't enjoy it.
Oh no.
Refused to eat it.
Yeah.
Loud, aggressive shouting.
Snarling?
Snarling. So he proceeded to remove the fork from the bowl and throw it at the window. Plastered the window, spaghetti bolognese pouring down the window. So it didn't go down well, as I've sort of already explained. His mum lost her head. It was an aggressive confrontation, shouting.
How old were you?
7.
7.
That explains the spaghetti.
7 years old. And I feel bad for disclosing that, but at the same time,
No, it's a quality story.
It's a good story. I'm pleased you shared.
In fact,
it wasn't enjoyable at the time, but sort of looking back on it, I think we can all look back and have a laugh at something like that.
Speaking of misbehaving friends, I've got a bit of a story
Got a corker.
about
Christmas related?
well, it was around Christmas time actually,
Okay,
during the
we'll let
Christmas
it
holidays.
pass.
That counts.
So basically, one of my mates came round to my house. This was a while ago now, like in my old school, quite a while ago. I don't even speak to this guy anymore. We're having a good time, chilling out, and then I think it was in the evening, and we were just about to have dinner, but he didn't really want to have dinner, so we were like, all right, we'll have it a bit later.
Carrying theme.
Fine.
These dinner
Eat your
stories.
food.
But
Be grateful. You could be on the streets.
If your mum cooks food for you, then you eat it.
Simple
Right.
as.
but then basically, so we were like, oh yeah, well,
Slaving away in the kitchen. Have a grateful attitude.
Or it could be the dad as well, you know what I mean? Harry's dodged that one. I think we know what he'd normally say.
We're not sexist here. On the Low
No
Blood Pressure
chance.
podcast.
We respect the women.
and then
And big up the women viewers. We thought, we didn't think it was
Well, I did get one comment from a female, and she told me that when she listened to the first couple of minutes and what she said was, there are too many passionate football fans to my liking.
Ooh.
But I wanna
It's true.
exaggerate that we won't just be talking about football. We'll
No,
talk about a lot of things.
I'm actually trying to passionately avoid football because I would cancel out about 98%
I don't know how you
of the
passionately
market.
avoid football, but
I mean,
alright, so basically, we put off dinner for by about half an hour, but he then wanted to, get a drink. So we were like, alright, fine, let's go down, nab a drink. So I went down, got a couple glasses of water. Then as I went to get a glass, I turned around and there he was. He had the fridge open, tucking away into all the snacks in there, had the carton of milk open, pouring it down his face, going all the way down his shirt, going all over the floor. He dropped chocolate all across the kitchen, and obviously I was like, what is going on? I was absolutely speechless. My parents came downstairs, had no clue what was going on, saw this absolute mess that he created.
he was at your house.
Yeah, he was at my house, and my parents completely destroyed him. They
that's
shouted.
the worst. That's the worst. When
was
it's
your
your
sister there?
parents to
No,
offend.
she wasn't.
Pirianka.
No, she
Shame.
wasn't there. She wasn't there.
Big up.
Big up Pirianka.
Yeah, legend. Basically,
I hope your business is going well.
Yeah. Good luck,
it
entrepreneur.
is. And basically, my parents absolutely shouted at him, and then called up his parents. His parents came, and he wasn't.
I'm cringing at this now. This is years ago.
He got moved school and he was he got moved school, right? I'm not even lying. He got moved school,
like tucking into a few snacks.
No, it was like he dropped. He emptied out the fridge and completely littered it all across the house. It was absolutely ridiculous.
So he wasn't eating the food.
No, he was trying to eat it. But he was like chucking it in the air, trying to catch it in his mouth.
I mean, that's not ideal. It's
going all over the place. He had like milk going all across the carpets. It was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, as you know, this is a Christmas podcast.
I'm gonna move it on to Christmas.
So does anyone else got any other Christmas related stories? Miles, I feel like you go on.
I've got
locked away there.
Well, I'll lead us on to the next one, and this is Saint Nick, Santa Claus, because I
want a story. I want a story from you, Miles.
I was a very passionate believer in Santa Claus.
For
an embarrassing
Santa Claus FC. Pick up Work the Space.
Work the Space. If you're listening, that series is bloody super.
It's really good, but please get a better wheel. So I believed in him for an embarrassingly long time. I think it's because I'm the oldest. Maybe it affects it.
How long?
Right, year 6, I was still on the fringes.
Oh, that's an L.
It was year 4 for me.
But
year 5.
Year 2 or 3.
It was during.
You really are a miserable bastard, aren't you? Year 2.
During the M&M days, as mentioned yesterday. Year 4, 8, 9. I stopped believing around then.
Well, anyway, so I was terrified, basically. Whenever he used to come, I was terrified that he'd walk into my room.
You had high blood pressure.
Look after me. Look over me as I was sleeping. Because we laugh.
Look after you.
We laugh. No.
My tech guy's pissing himself down there.
He'd pick you up, cradle you.
Oh my god.
Keep you safe.
The thing is, though, we laugh. But if you think about it, a bearded old man.
Looked after by Santa Claus.
Give Childline a bell.
Please,
0800111.
come forward and tell somebody.
Look, we laugh though, but the concept of Santa Claus is an old man coming into your room in the dead of night.
No. I can agree with this.
And leaving you a present. Like, it's quite weird, isn't it? If you think about it.
No, I can definitely agree. It is quite a weird thing. It's a very weird thing. Because I have a man just come down the chimney.
Yeah, it's true.
It is a very odd thing. Eat some of your food.
Do you reckon someone's called the police on Santa before?
Like a young boy.
Mars, did you end up blocking the chimney then? Stop him entering?
Turn the fire on.
Yeah, turn the fire on.
No, so basically, the story goes, my dad, right, and he tried to do this the other year, and I said, what are you doing? I now know, he used to dress up. No, he not only used to put the presents in my room, but he used to dress up as Santa Claus when he did it.
Oh my god.
It's funny you mention people dressing up as Santa Claus, because I'll get on to it soon.
But it's hilarious, because looking back now, it's not late at all, but like for me, I thought it was so late. It was like 12 o'clock or something like that. And he walks into my room, and he looks at me, and you literally see this Santa, and he runs out the room. And I'm like, I've seen him.
Are you sure it was your dad, mate?
Well, no, I thought it, and I was absolutely terrified. I was so scared.
So breakfast the next morning.
I was like speaking to my mum, and she was like, "Oh, I heard him too. I think I heard the bells." And she didn't try and calm me down. She completely added to it.
But my old brother Ed, I used to this is another few Christmases ago. Basically, there were loads of people around our house, like the whole family around our house, like extended family. So I was sleeping in his room. I had like a sleeping bag or something on the floor, and about 1 o'clock in the morning, he wakes up and goes, Angus, did you hear that? Like, what is it? And he's like, I can hear the reindeer on the roof. And I say, at this point...
No, we do it, you imagine it, don't
at this point, I still believe in Santa, but he didn't. So when I look back on it, he was just baiting me out.
Yeah, I've got so many memories of older cousins just like taking the piss out of me and not realising.
I was totally oblivious to it.
Yeah, like when she was like, "Oh, Santa's real, isn't he?" I was like, "Yeah, he is." And she's like, "Let's have a look at some photos of Santa in real life." She typed into Google Images. It was like real Santa spottings, and I was like, "Wow, that looks so real."
That website actually, Track Santa.
NORAD.
Yeah, that's the one.
Track Santa Claus.
Yeah. You know, there was actually like last year, like Sky News did like a full 30-minute news, like proper news thing, tracking Santa. They were like the U.S. Marine Forces they're like an interview with like one of the Marines sitting there in his uniform, going like, all right, so we've been tracking Santa. We think he might be heading some hurricanes. We're really worried about his health. It's the most deluded thing.
Have you guys seen Arthur Christmas?
Oh, it's such a good film.
Such a good film.
Love it.
Viewers, Arthur Christmas, watch it this Christmas.
I've got a DVD in my house. I can give it to you.
It's on Netflix though.
Is it?
Put Netflix. If you don't have Netflix,
Pirate
free
it.
trial.
You should have
Pirate
Netflix.
it.
Free 7-day trial. Get it on there. And if you want to keep going,
Sponsored by Netflix.
sponsored by
Oh,
Netflix. Change your email. Keep going.
Did you? Does that work?
Yeah, it does. I've been doing that a long time.
Okay.
Also, I've got one other story, right? I think
This has to be about Santa. You know?
No, it is,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, good.
So I think I might have told a couple of you out there before, but basically, in my old school, you know, it was around Christmas time. You know, we were talking about like, you know, what we wanted and stuff, and then in the group chat, you know, this lass Georgia, if you're listening, you were a meme.
Oh, God.
She comes and she was like, I want Santa to give me what he gave last year. But we were all like, oh yeah. I was like, what did you actually ask your parents for? And they were like, so she was like, what? And we were like, yeah. What'd you ask for? And then she was like, I wrote a letter to Santa. And then, you know, at this point, everyone has sort of realised to sort of, you know, pipe down a bit.
Yeah.
I, being the absolute hothead that I am, did too bad. It was a pretty alpha moment. I just went on and said, are you an idiot? Santa's not real. Ooh. How are you still believing this? This was year 8.
Oh yeah,
and
that's understandable.
And I was like, are you an idiot? Santa's not real. Do you really think a fat old man comes climbing down your chimney? and she was like, yes. And then the next day I saw her and I was like, do you still think Santa, just as like a joke, I was like, do you still think Santa's real? And she just burst into tears.
You're horrible.
It sounds like bullying to me.
Yeah,
You really you take pleasure in ruining people's dreams, don't you?
I can't lie, it's pretty funny. I can't even lie, it was pretty funny.
I think I want to get onto a point Miles made earlier about you know, his dad dressing up as Santa Claus, because I've also got an interesting story to sort of share with you guys about someone dressing up as Santa Claus. So Christmas time, as I mentioned, get a lot of the family over to my house, including a few of my older cousins, one of whom had a bit of a weight problem. I don't want to go too deep on the lad, but yeah, not great. However, it was perfect for him to be cast into this particular role, which was to be dressing up as Santa Claus, you know, particularly overweight man. So, you know, my mum, bless her heart was in the right place here. She asked him to go outside into the garden with a few of the presents she'd wrapped up for us to be open the next day. I was about 10 at the time, I think. My brother and sister were still firmly rooted in the Santa Claus camp. I was a bit unconvinced, I have to be honest. I was questioning it. But anyway, I should mention that this cousin of mine, he has a bit of a drinking problem.
How old is he?
He will be in his 30s now. At the time.
A cousin, 30. Wow.
Yeah, well, my dad's the youngest of 5, so I have a lot of older cousins.
Okay, makes sense.
So my mum asked him to go out into the garden, dress up as Santa Claus for the sake of my brother and sister. So he goes out there, and you know, he's stumbling about. He's got the presents. He's all over the place. He's got them tucked under his arm. He's slumped.
It's like the guy from like Miracle on.
Yeah.
What's it called? Christian, do you know what it's called? No. Miracle on. Oh, carry on.
So, Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah, Miracle on 34th Street, when you got like the alcoholic Santa.
Yeah.
Well, this is what he was. He was an alcoholic Santa Claus. So he's stumbling about the garden, half cut, and I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with Santa? Is he tired? It's been a long day. Is he struggling physically? Not in the best sort of shape. I mean, you know, he's a bit overweight. And then, as he goes to place a present by our climbing frame, he stacks it.
What?
He stacks it. Tripped just over nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just the alcohol taking its turn on him.
Just wombling about.
And he took a tumble. The hat fell off. As did the beard. And there was my bald cousin. I should mention he was bald. He is bald. bit of a fraud.
Like
And that was when I knew Santa. No.
Yeah.
Because, you can talk about all sorts of Santas, but bald Santa, no. Never.
No, I thought Santa was bald.
No. No.
I've seen a lot of pictures.
He's got a glistening head of grey hair. He's not a baldy. I'm not having any of this rubbish.
Hang on, in the Family Guy
there
Christmas
wasn't-
special, I swear Santa was bald.
There wasn't a hair on the guy. And it was my cousin.
Angus.
You know that Christmas Time is Killing Us song?
Oh, no.
No.
There was a lot of things though, because I used to like ration to believe in him. Like, one was I used to make the Christmas list, right, and I used to post it to Santa, and I was like, how could my mum get the right stuff if she
He
never
looked
saw the
over you.
lift? Exactly, it's probably that.
Although like, I remember, right, back when I was, because like, I don't know if it happened to any of you, but like before you stopped believing in Santa, you had like that period of skepticism where you were kind of unsure. I remember whenever I used to ask my parents, well, how does Santa go all across the world to all these people delivering presents? And my parents would just be like, time zones, and that'd just throw me off for the rest of the time. So
Just trying to sound intelligent.
yeah, exactly. They're like time zones,
An articulated response.
yeah, they give some like absolute
It's like
grandstand
Friends.
lecture.
Yeah, you watch Friends, don't you?
Yeah,
That
I do.
Friends reference when Joey is like, how did you get here so fast?
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah,
the
time
difference.
zone.
It's funny you
Yeah.
mention Friends, guys, actually, because it was brought up in one of our economics classes.
Oh, fantastic.
Super.
Brought up by Dr. McCormick.
What a legend.
Shout out to the man.
Shout out.
Yeah, football manager player.
He loves his football manager. I'm sure we'll get on to that.
You should
Destroyed
introduce
him
him
in
to work
Kahoot
the
today.
space.
Destroyed him in Kahoot today.
And he wanted to know if anyone in our class had watched Friends. How many hands do you reckon gone up?
All the class.
Yeah, close to everyone.
Especially the
Close
girls.
to everyone.
Yeah, all the class.
None.
See,
What? That's surprising.
See, that is genuinely.
No,
That's genuinely.
that is sad.
It's appalling.
But that kind of
That's
shows
sad.
you
That's
the kind of
actually sad.
demographic of economics,
Blasphemy.
mate.
That is sad. That's sad.
What do you mean demographic
Mate,
economics?
how many girls are there in your economics class?
5 or 6.
Okay, that surprises me then.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I was introduced
it's
to it.
fantastic.
Introduced it from my older brother.
It's one of those things that
My-
I think
my
it's a bit
family's
like Game of
watched
Harry, is this like Love Island, where you've never watched it before and still making a judgment?
Yeah.
we
come
all
on,
talk.
mate.
The
If
concept
we're
of
doing
Love
this when
Island
Love
is
Island comes
Love
back
Island.
around,
Right, if we do one about Love Island, I will defend it to
Alright.
death.
Same.
no,
Let's do
honestly,
it.
Because it is
Let's
brilliant.
do it.
we're really enjoying the
let's do
podcast, and if we're still doing it by the time Love Island comes around, that will be an excellent
Yeah,
episode. I think.
me and Rohan will
I'm going to watch it.
will
next
take
series.
Harry, and we will absolutely destroy you.
No chance.
Yes.
Rubbish.
Give it a watch.
Rubbish.
Give it a watch.
You can't
have
defend
to-
a flawed concept.
You know they
can't-
broke up. The
you
win-
can't-
the winners broke
You
up.
can't argue for something when you haven't even watched it.
But I know what happens.
So
Well, so I don't need to watch it to
you
know
do.
it's shite.
Viewers, what do you think?
Yeah, come on.
DM me.
Most
Give me what you
people
think.
watch it. Most people watch it.
Comments below. Comments below. Give your opinion
Yeah,
on Love
tweet
Island.
us
Oh, yeah,
as well.
tweet
Yeah,
it
tweet
at,
us.
at the LBP podcast
tweet
on
it.
Twitter and on Instagram. Drop
Instagram,
us a follow if
comment.
you haven't already.
Comment on our
Comment your
Instagram.
opinions
Yeah.
on Love Island, and
particularly-
if you'd like to see a debate on it and you'd like to appear on the podcast, then let us know.
We have a few people, who we're considering getting on, friends of ours. They're not going to be like special guests, but we'll just have them on as guest
Daisy
presenters.
Hargreaves. We know you're a
She
keen
want-
listener.
she wants to come on.
She wants to be on
Agree.
there.
Does she?
She does.
An avid listener.
Yeah. I'm
follower
sure.
of
I'm
the
sure.
Lowbud.
We
Maybe
can
we can-
accommodate you at some point.
Do you want about the arts? Angus the singer, Daisy the actress. Who knows?
Actress.
All right.
Be an actress, right?
So we've talked about our Santa Claus stories. You don't have one, do you, Angus? Is that a decent story about when you found out the big man wasn't real?
Yeah, how did you?
Who revealed it to you? Or did you discover it for yourself?
I am.
Do you
The
research?
first person that told me was this fat guy, like really fat, called Jack, and I can't remember his second name.
Savage.
No, he was very overweight, especially for his age.
I feel like we're going in on the overweight people on this podcast.
I feel like
Rightly so.
we have talked about this. We have talked
if you
about
are
this.
overweight and you want to appear on the podcast and sort of take
Yeah,
Rohan
come
up
on,
that,
come on.
It
Please,
is.
come on.
It's something we've talked about though, because like nowadays you're like, you describe someone as fat, and suddenly you're fat shaming.
Yeah, no, you bang on, Mark.
It's a bit of an edgy
Agree,
issue, but
agree.
That's true.
I
Yeah, but we
just
like our
I
age.
think maybe it has gone a bit too far, the political correctness.
A bit too far.
Ooh, we're now treading on a.
I'm taking my coat off.
I'm treading on
It's hot in
eggshells.
here.
No, honestly, we have nothing against people who are maybe slightly overweight. We completely
Mars,
respect
it's
you,
fine.
and we're sorry if we offended you. I bottled it, lads. I'm sorry.
At the end of the day, if you're overweight, then you just lose the weight.
Agreed. Spot on.
Well,
Fair
in
enough.
fairness,
Spot on.
as Katie Hopkins showed, it can be done.
Exactly.
But it's easier for other people. So
There
you
is,
can't-
but you know,
the 400 pound CEO, you know.
it is sometimes like chemical, though, I think. Okay, so Angus, do you have any more stories about Father Christmas?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think we don't want to record them too long. We should move on
Yeah, moving on.
to something I'm sure Rohan will have a lot to say about, as he often does.
He's been the most negative.
He is the negative person.
So
on this podcast.
He's got a bar humbug hat on.
Just a realist.
What are the bad things? Like, we discussed the good things, discussed funny stories. What are the bad things about Christmas?
All right.
Get ready for some passion, lads.
I'll tell you one thing, right? The ridiculous hype around Christmas. As soon as Halloween ends, that's it. It's
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
It's Christmas all over the
No,
place.
it's not Halloween. It's fireworks.
Bonfire.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Bonfire
it.
night.
As soon as that's over, it's just it's pandemonium. What's going on? Christmas ads all over the place. What's going on? Christmas starts on the 25th of December. All right.
Yeah,
What's the big deal before
I'll
that?
tell you what the big deal is. This isn't aimed at someone like you. It's aimed at a much younger audience, aimed at families.
Yeah, and like the hype around it all is just completely ridiculous. I don't understand why we need to start so early and all the Christmas ads. Like, I just don't get it. And also, they make such a big deal about like turning on the lights and stuff. Well done, lads. You're just completing a circuit. Like, who the hell cared? You've done like key stage 3 physics.
Oh, mate, I've got some stories about that. You know Piers Morgan, right? He
had a shocker.
He went. Yeah, you tell him.
Well, Piers Morgan, I
didn't work,
think
did they?
we all know about.
what a clown.
We all know about that
we will say
buffoon himself.
We'll say what we want about Piers Morgan because I doubt we have a single listener who likes him.
Goes to turn on the Christmas lights in his local village. Cockily trots up there, clapping away, applauding himself up to the stage. Big countdown. Nothing. Nothing happened.
The lights don't turn on.
And if I'm being honest, conspiracy theories, probably on purpose. Probably to make him look like the cock that he is, to be honest with you.
Yep,
Yeah, I agree.
Completely agree with
that's
you.
a great
Probably did it on
story.
purpose.
Akin Fenwar. He turned on the Christmas lights at Wickham.
Quite right.
Yeah, the big man. But yeah, it does start early, doesn't it, Rohan?
Yeah, I just can't deal with it. And then especially like when the same few songs just get played over and over and over, and like it never stops in my head. It's just completely ridiculous. There are more than 5
Favourite
songs.
Christmas song?
Oh God, no. I'm not gonna answer
What is
that.
your favourite Christmas song?
There are some good ones.
Oh.
There are some absolute bangers. I mean,
Here's the problem.
Fairy Tale of
Don't
New
play
York.
them, Angus. We'll get copyrighted.
Now here's the thing, right? I don't mind every single Christmas song. I think is good in some way, right?
You could fool me.
But it's the fact that they get overplayed for like a good 10 years straight. Like in that 1 month period for like 10 years straight, you just hear it over and over and over and over, and it just completely ruins it. Especially like when it comes to like the end of school, right? And you spend every lesson listening to the same song. It's just such a
Rocking
joke.
around the Christmas tree. Brilliant. I'll tell you what's needed actually, Rohan. I think you'd listen to this on repeat. A 2-pack Christmas wrap. Obviously, it's not going to happen now.
Oh, also, I can't remember who it was. Somebody was telling me that in one of their lessons they actually listened to a Man's Not Hot Christmas rendition.
That was mine.
Oh yeah, that's it.
that's tragic.
It
was a
is
bit
tragic.
cringy.
Kristen, you're going to be pigging those all to yourself. Sorry,
on,
for those of you
Ash.
who can't see the viewers. Kristen just opened this big booming box of Christmas chocolate.
Come on, son,
Come on,
lash
dish
us.
them out,
Lash
dish them
us.
How delicious.
He is tucking into them.
Thank you very much.
Superb.
Well, I'm sorry now, but
That's one thing good about Christmas,
If
as
I-
we said, the food.
The food,
Brilliant.
yes. But
if our voice quality now starts to deteriorate
We're munching away.
because we're eating chocolate, I've actually heard, I read a report once that before you sing or before you speak for a long time, you shouldn't eat cheese or chocolate. I think
Who have you got that from?
I don't know.
Oh,
You don't know where it's from.
Angus
BuzzFeed,
just
probably.
thinks he's a
BuzzFeed,
sort
BuzzFeed.
of you know,
Absolute
singing
rubbish.
maestro.
Thing is, Angus, the last thing we need is fake news being brought to this podcast. And if you go around telling people that, and then that's actually not true,
I get enough fake news.
shows
from
us in bad light.
No,
we
that-
won't be getting any brand deals.
No, that is true.
But you don't know where it's
I
come
think-
from.
I can confirm it's true. Simon Roundtree tweeted about it. If you don't know who he is, look him up.
Simon Roundtree, famous reporter for the Echo.
Yeah, Forest
Forest
Echo
Echo
News.
News.
What publication?
Right, we've gone on a bit of a tangent here, so I'm going to steer it back.
Yeah,
Two things that we
steady the ship.
It's a good host there.
Steady the ship. Two things we don't like about Christmas. I have to agree with Rohan. The songs, they're overplayed. It starts a bit too early for my liking. One thing that I think quite bad about Christmas is it's overplayed.
See, look, voice quality is deteriorating.
It's true. I mean,
You're choking on it,
He's
Miles.
choking away. Oh, yeah, he actually is. He's having a meltdown.
I'm joking. Very unprofessional. But I heard actually the one bad thing about Christmas time, and this is going to be very controversial. And my dad told me this, not me, but apparently.
Was he in the Santa outfit when he told you this?
No, it wasn't. But he told me, right.
Miles is terrified.
And I didn't believe him. So this is him. This is on you, Dad. It was he was like. So basically, he works with someone. He works with this. There's this woman in his office who is basically got a father who I don't know if he has actually he has like Alzheimer's or something, but he unfortunately he lives on the streets due to his own choice, and apparently
Why?
Can I just interrupt?
yeah.
So he has a house.
No, well
He has a family.
He has a family. He could live with his daughter, but he chooses to live on the streets.
Why?
Why?
I don't understand, but anyway.
Get him on the podcast.
Agree.
I don't
Grill
know,
him.
maybe. But basically, she told my dad, and he told me that apparently you shouldn't give homeless people money at Christmas. And I said, why? That's ridiculous. And they're like, I spend it on booze, and they all throw up.
Yeah.
You think? I think it's quite negative though.
Best way to spend your money.
God. Do you think that?
Angus?
I don't think you should give money to people on Christmas because
To anyone?
No. What I think is if you're going to give money, if you want homeless to benefit from your money, give it to a charity.
Yeah, I think Christmas is a good time, so it's hard to slate it as much as Rohan would like. So, I think podcast has run its course. I think hopefully Christian's edited this well. This one has been quite heavily edited, I think.
Why have you told them that, Miles? Don't cut. Don't
What
cut.
are you fucking doing?
We got a cut now.
We've got to cut it now. Keep it going.
Miles.
Keep it.
That's got to be in the.
That'll be in the
Okay.
blueprints.
Oh yeah, we are gonna do it.
I'm just gonna round up now.
I think no. Keep it going.
Stop.
Keep it going. Shit.
Now.
Stop.
Harry.
Wait, guys.
Harry. So
I've
basically,
just sworn and made a bloody fool of myself. That's not staying in.
So I think that brings
Alright, so that's all we got time for this time. Thanks for listening to our Christmas special. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, can we cut? What are you guys laughing at?
laughing.
He was Angus. He was like,
Right, keep it going.
For God's sake.
Right, okay.
Alright, can I do it? Alright, so that's all we got time for this time round. I hope you guys enjoyed and thanks for listening to our Christmas special. Our third podcast will be coming up next in early January. And also look out, because we might actually be doing a cultural learning special with our sound guy Christian's and Miles's Spanish exchanges. And, we'll be discussing with them. Finally, from all of us, thanks for listening to our Christmas special and have a very Merry Christmas.
What are you fucking doing?